War Eagle! This is the Tigers and Tide Auburn Football Podcast from SoutheasternFootball.com. Available on War Eagle Sports Radio, a V-Sporto channel, bringing you all Auburn Tigers all the time. Remember to download the War Eagle Sports Radio free iOS app and follow their channel on Twitter at War Eagle Radio. Here are your hosts, Brett Mason and Jamie Thomas.
Broadcasting live from our respective Alabama and Auburn bunkers in southeastern Alabama, I am Brett Mason along with my co-host Jamie Thomas. War Eagle, man.
Roll Tide, roll.
Our show, as always, brought to you by Odds Worth Betting, one of the best pick services in the country. So far this year, they're up $13,000. You can see the proof of their picks at southeasternfootball.com/win. And make sure you sign up to check out their free picks and plays at southeasternfootball.com/win. We are a proud compensated affiliate and glad to have those guys as sponsors of the show. Not a full-blown scrimmage, but a mini scrimmage, and starting some preparation for Louisville this weekend. And a few things went on with that. Gus Malzahn was really he made a statement that it makes sense, but it almost sounded to me like he was trying to dampen expectations. But he came out talking about how fans just really needed to expect close games to be early and rough at times because they have a lot of talent, but we got a lot of new guys that are going to be playing. And it was almost like he was setting us up to have a heart attack early on in the season. It made me nervous. But if you look at the schedule, I can't help but agree with him. I mean, Louisville's not going to be no joke. I mean, you never know what's going to happen in the opening game. You just don't, especially when you're playing a decent opponent and you're not playing a Division III school or something like that. And then third game, man, we're on the road in Death Valley, which I looked up these stats. I don't even know if you know this or not, Jamie. Talk about scary. Auburn hasn't won in Death Valley since 1999.
Really?
That's 16 years, buddy. 16 years.
Yeah, that is a long time. That's a big drought right there.
And LSU has only lost 10 home games in their last 12 seasons. That's less than a game a season, man. You just don't go over there and win.
It's a tough place to play. I mean, we've seen, the thing about it, anytime Alabama or Auburn or even, the last couple of years, Texas A&M's gone in that stadium, there have been some really good, hard-hitting football games. This is a tough place to play, especially at nighttime, which is, when we see Auburn and LSU actually play quite a bit. Those LSU fans love those nighttime games. It gets rowdy. It's just a great home environment for LSU.
Well, I mean, last year's a great example. You had an Alabama team that went and played in the playoffs, and they barely got out of there with a win.
Yeah, every year that's just that's a tough place to play.
The big question, I guess, for Auburn is who's going to win the running back race. I've come to the point that I don't care. I think any one of three would be fine. Whichever one they says is the go-to guy. I know how Gus does it. I mean, they're going to get a lot of probably seemingly equal reps between a couple of them, maybe three the first few games till he sees who just takes that position and runs with it. But I believe your opinion is probably similar to mine. It seems like there's just a lot of upside to Brock Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big bruising back. He's got the speed. I just like the way he carries the football. I know that sounds weird coming from a Bama fan, but he just reminds me of an old school running back. The way he just kind of lowers his shoulder and just plows through whatever gets in his way.
Well, one of the downsides that you hear people talk about him is he loves to do the spin move, and all of his detractors say he's just going to get nailed trying that spin move every down in the SEC, which is true, but I mean he's got more weapons than that.
Hey, they said the same thing about Eddie Lacy, and look at him, man.
Yeah, I
mean, he was the spin move master, carried that into the NFL, so. I mean, you can't listen to stuff like that. If that's his move and that's the way what he feels he has to do, let the man make the spin move.
I don't care. As long as they can average 4 or 5 yards a carry, I'm fine with it. Whatever. That's the position I'm the least worried about. But it's one of those things everybody wants to know. It's something to get excited about, especially since we seem to be reasonably deep there. We had another player get himself in trouble. I tell you, I don't know. If I was a coach, Jamie, I don't know. I don't think you can just ban your players from Facebook and Twitter, but by golly, it seems like a good idea sometimes, don't it? Because it just
especially this close to the season, you don't want anybody looking too stupid.
The coincidence between this incident and something Muschamp said recently in one of his press conferences is it's really interesting, the timing on it. But Byron Cowart, who's much hyped, in the recruiting process, just going to come in and be a big star and contribute immediately, apparently has just not been happy with the way his fall camp is going. He tweeted he was being penalized because he was the number one player, but he's struggling. And why is him struggling being thrown in his face? And then he posted later, how about help me? I came in humble and ready to learn, not bragging and flashy. I just want to learn. Of course, those went away pretty quickly, and he came back with another one apologizing and talking about how much he loved Auburn and stuff. But, Muschamp in a press conference before this happened, actually, was talking about how some of these recruits had problems adjusting from the recruiting process to the fall camp. We're going to tell you how great you are when we're trying to get you on the team. Once you get here, we're going to tear you down, and it's going to be ugly,
That's what it is. These guys coming out of high school, they're treated like rock stars. They're, pampered like rock stars. When they come to, come to campus for a visit, they put their, put them in the jerseys, and they put their name on the Jumbotron, and, they greet them with cheerleaders. So it's understandable, an 18-year-old kid coming into, camp for the first time. Of course, he's going to be a little arrogant. He's going to be a little cocky. Because that's the way he's been built up.
Yeah, and you want a guy like that. I mean, you want an arrogant, cocky guy, but then you also want to get control of him and channel that into ways that it's productive. And I think it's going to work out all right, but there does seem to be some growing pains. I still think no matter what, even though they've talked about some of the problems he's having, I think he's going to play early, and I think he's probably going to contribute reasonably often, even though he is a freshman. The guy's just too talented, and, they need depth at almost every position. So I think we'll get to see a lot of him.
This is Tigers and Tide Picks, a weekly segment where we award free prizes to the winner of our Fantasy Picks League.
All right, we're real happy to start pushing our new Pick'em contest here for the Tigers and Tide show. It's absolutely free to play. We are using the Yahoo Fantasy Picks League, so it's free to sign up, and it's great. Weekly winners, and we'll have an overall yearly winner, and everybody's going to win prizes just for picking who you think's going to win. And every week up for picks will be whatever the AP Top 25 is.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Jamie Thomas is footing the bill for all of these prizes. I understand the Auburn winners will get a prize valued at around $100, and the Alabama winners will have to give us prizes. Is that not right?
That's typical Auburn logic right there. Yeah.
Well, this from the guy who last week promised to give away toilet paper to the Auburn winners.
Hey, we've upgraded this year. Any Auburn fan that wins the Pick'em contest, autograph picture of Brett Mason wearing his Auburn pajamas.
Oh God!
In his Auburn Santa Claus hat with a War Eagle sign. Wow! I mean, it's going to be great, man. I've hired a professional photographer for this and everything.
I'm not sure how much this I should admit to or not. I do not have the Auburn Santa hat. I, however, do have some Auburn pajamas, but I don't wear them. They were a gift, and I have them in a drawer somewhere. I'd look hot in them, though.
It's scary that I know that.
Come on. Like you ain't got some Bama pajamas. Come on, man.
No comment.
Hey, run along the lines of picks. Later in this week on another podcast, we will be having a guest picker on the show with us, Elizabeth Sturdivant from 3yardsinthecloud.com. She's also on Twitter at 3YITC. And she is a picks guru, man. She knows her stuff. She's really good. She's going to try to help you and us get through the season and not go broke as we maybe put a little 10 spot, 50 spot, 100 spot here or there. And she'll be talking about her year-end predictions, too, picking the Final Four and trying to find some value in some of those futures bets that they got out there now.
I plan on using her advice the entire season and benefited from him greatly.
There you go. So listen to her later in the week on another podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time. War Eagle, buddy.
Roll Tide.
Don't forget to follow us at Tigers and Tide 1 on Twitter and Facebook.com/Tigers and Tide. Also, be sure to follow War Eagle Sports Radio at War Eagle Radio for the latest on Auburn Tigers sports. Thanks for listening to the Auburn Football Podcast from SoutheasternFootball.com on War Eagle Sports Radio of the Sporto channel. Download our free iOS app. Just search for Tigers and Tide in the App Store. And subscribe to our podcast podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio. Just search for Tigers and Tide. And for the latest SEC news, log on to southeasternfootball.com.